People of this city live like slaves but never dared to step off the borders. However, a young guy finds a mysterious book that leads them all towards a better tomorrow. Many years ago, in the realm of Apollyon, past the Garden of Four Rivers and in the region of Abadan, there was an old city. Its name was not cursed. However, the city was indeed cursed with corrupted leaders. The inhabitants had no choice but to work day and night just to bring food on their table. Centuries have passed away, and the city has grown in number. It's ruled by the supervisors who claim themselves as brilliant organizers, keeping the city alive. But the public is bound with never-ending work shifts and schedules. Most of the people have never thought of leaving the city, as the other side of the border is rumored to be an invitation to death. However, not all people are the same. One man stands against his fate and disappears from the city. His name was Faithful Pathfinder. Some of the laborers are ordered to dispose of all the belongings of Faithful, so the room can be used by someone less. One of the laborers on duty is Christian Pilgrim. He gets really shocked on seeing Faithful's room, as it is full of mysterious paintings. Each painting seems to point towards a better tomorrow. He shows them to his friend Obstinate, who advises him not to think too much. Faithful was rumored to be a madman who eloped to the other side of the border. Obstinate believes that Faithful must have died already. Suddenly, a supervisor arrives and orders the laborers to burn down every scrap of paper, including the painting and notes. While collecting all the belongings, Christian finds a small book. It is no ordinary book. It was said that no one just finds the book, but rather this book finds him. Christian can't help himself from reading it. It's so addicting that Christian keeps reading and reading day and night until he completes the book. The more he reads, the more his concern for right things grows, and it becomes a burden for him. He reads about things he has never imagined, about kindness he has never known existed, about the wrongful things that needed to be put right. The book also tells him about the origin of this city, and also gives a warning of an upcoming war that will destroy the entire city. Christian gets really worried for his family and tells his wife, Christiana, that they need to leave as soon as possible. They will head towards Celestial City, the City of Light, and start a better life. Christiana laughs at it and tells Christian that since he has started reading this book, he has become insane. Christian asks his wife to read the book too and try to understand what he means. He has been under this burden alone. He can't even stand properly because of the weight. The more he reads the book, the more it weighs on him. His wife doesn't understand him at all and asks him to choose whether he wants his family or to leave this city. The next day, Christian goes for a walk in the woods and notices the supervisor talking with one of his loyal workers. They mention Faithful and discuss his attempt to leave the city. The supervisor also talks about a war and orders his man to make a fake announcement regarding Faithful's death. They must scare the public so no one else dares to leave the city. Afterward, the supervisor goes to inform his master. It's a mysterious creature living in a secret place. The supervisor is not a human either. He can turn into a flying beast. The master is not happy to hear about Faithful. After punishing the supervisor, he tells him to be more vigilant. One person like Faithful has the tendency to affect 100 others. Later that day, Faithful finally decides to head towards the Celestial City by using the map in the book. He plans to get some proof and then return to pick his family. However, he's still not sure if he is doing the right thing or not. The burden on his back is like a stone attached to his body, which only he can see. He starts asking himself what he should do. Suddenly, a man named Evangelist appears out of nowhere and says that he has the answer to Christian's question. Evangelist tells Christian to not hesitate about his decision and believe what is in your heart. Evangelist can also see the burden on Christian's back and reveals that it can only be removed once the task is complete. He points towards a light and asks Christian to run towards it and not look back. Christian starts running towards it, but he gets caught by someone. It's no other than his friend Obstinate. Christiana told him everything, and so he arrived to stop his friend. He also brought another guy named Pliable for help. Christian tells them to join him as the king of Celestial City promises to ensure the happiness of his citizens. There's no sorrow and the streets are paved with gold. Everyone will have luxurious clothes and never-ending lives. Obstinate doesn't believe it and wants to go back home, but Pliable is attracted towards Christian's depiction of the city. He also wants a life without sorrows, so he joins Christian on this journey. As they proceed forward, they fall down in a pond full of mud. Pliable loses hope already and decides to give up. He even doesn't help Christian in getting out of the pond. Fortunately, another mysterious man appears to help Christian. He pulls him out and washes off the mud. He tells Christian that there was a path made by the king to cross the pond. but with time it got lost in mud. This may look like mud, but it is actually doubts, fears, and discouragement. It made Pliable give up because his faith wasn't strong enough. Christian has to face several other obstacles like this on the journey ahead, so his faith can be tested. Hearing this, Christian claims that he trusts the king and will continue his journey no matter how hard it is. The man is delighted to see Christian's spirit and advises him not to ever give up, as the king's help will always be near him. Meanwhile, Obstinate has informed the supervisor that Christian has escaped. The supervisor is not happy to hear that, and he plans to distract Christian from his path. Christian is also getting tired already. The burden on his back is getting bigger too. On his way, he meets a well-dressed man named Wordly Wiseman. He seems worried about the burden on Christian's back and says that Evangelist is a madman who misguides people. Reaching the Celestial City will not remove the burden. If Christian wants to get rid of his burden, he must follow the path shown by Wordly Wiseman. Christian accepts the offer and walks on the new path to reach the village called Morality. The village is actually a bunch of mountains covered in headstones. Each headstone has a rule written on it, such as, "Don't speak up, don't walk forward, don't question," and so on. After a while, the mountain becomes alive and offers to take off Christian's burden, but he has to climb up to him while following the instructions written on the headstones. But there are too many, and Christian can't keep track. He almost gets crushed by stones, but the evangelist appears again to save him. He asks Christian why he turned away from his path so quickly. Where did his faith go? Christian feels really ashamed of himself for trying to find a shortcut to get rid of the burden. He rejected the instructions the king sent to him. However, the king has forgiven him because he is regretting his deeds. Christian can continue the journey, but he must not divert from his path again. He continues moving, but the burden on his back has gotten even heavier. After a while, he finally reaches near the gate to the Celestial City, but the evil supervisor has sent several flying monsters to stop Christian. The poor man keeps running with all his might and eventually enters the gate. The gatekeeper tells him that this is just the start of his journey. There's still a long way to go. To reach his destination, Christian must stay on the straight path ahead. After sending him away, the gatekeeper defeats all the monsters sent by the supervisor. The night sets in, and Christian can hardly see anything. Luckily, hundreds of fireflies arrive to guide him. They end up wrapping around a big tree. Christian knocks at the gate on the tree and greets the woman living inside. She introduces herself as the interpreter who guides others towards the light. She takes him inside a magical portal and introduces him to the followers of the king. They tell Christian that he is going to meet a lot of people who will pretend to lead him to the right path, but they actually lead him into misery, just like Wordly Wiseman did. The interpreter also tells Christian about the difference between passion and patience. Passion makes a person throw tantrums when he doesn't get the things he wants, while patience makes a person be grateful for how things are given to him on a specific time. Christian has to learn patience and wait for the things the king promised to give him. Lastly, the interpreter also shows a man in despair. His cage is unlocked, but the man doesn't escape and keeps saying that there's no hope. Christian has to understand the message here by himself. As he leaves the treehouse, the sun has risen already. The interpreter sends him off to the path further, but advises him not to only see but look closely, and not to only hear but listen carefully. Christian proceeds forward and reaches a cliff that seems really hard to climb. On the other hand, there's another path which is delightfully easy and comfortable. Christian is not going to make the same mistake again. He follows the road instructed by the king no matter how hard it is. He believes that the king will ease his way if needed. As he says that, the burden on his back starts to fall apart, and he can see a light on the top of the cliff. As he climbs further, the burden finally gets removed. 3 angelic people appear before him and call themselves the king's heralds. Christian tells them that the king did something for him which he couldn't do for himself. The king has given him a new life. His cloth is also changed into a luxurious outfit. He gets overwhelmed with emotion and thanks for the blessings given to him. The heralds tell him to continue the journey until he reaches the palace. There he will be refreshed and get ready for the journey ahead. Meanwhile, the supervisor informs everything to his master, the devil. He gets really angry and decides to defeat Christian by himself. The devil can't let him go because if he does, the others will try the same thing. Later that night, Christian reaches the palace, which is guarded by 2 stone lions who are ready to attack him. He is really scared, but doesn't back off and rushes towards the palace gate. There he meets a man named Watchful, who says that Christian has passed the test of faith. Now he can take some rest in the palace before continuing his journey. Watchful also introduces his daughters: discretion, prudence, piety, and sweet charity. Many others like Christian have walked on this path, and they are an inspiration for him, and now he will soon become an inspiration for people coming after him. Christian sits down on the dinner table and shares his story. Every hardship has strengthened him, but he is still worried for his family. Watchful and his daughters advise Christian to keep faith. The king knows everything, and he will set up a path for his family as well. Right now, he should focus on his journey and must take some rest. The next morning, the girls give him armor to wear as it will be more suitable for the obstacles he is going to face ahead. Christian can't even stand properly in the heavy suit and falls down the cliff. As he gets up, he realizes that he has reached the Valley of Humiliation, the next test ground. There he meets a man with pointed ears who asks Christian why he left his comfortable home and his beloved family. They must be missing him, so he should not be selfish and head back home. Christian remembers what the interpreter said. He will meet a lot of people who will pretend to guide him, but they will only take him into misery. Christian has faith in the king who always helped him. He may have made mistakes, but the king forgave him. The man gets angry to hear that and takes his actual form. He's the devil. He tries his best to break Christian's faith but fails. Despite the numerous injuries, Christian doesn't give up and keeps fighting. The devil leaves for now, but he will come back again. Christian continues on his journey and meets an old friend. It's Faithful. He has made it to this level as well. Now they will together reach the Celestial City. On their way further, they also meet Evangelist, who offers them some food. Afterward, he warns them of the upcoming danger, which can even take their lives. The next morning, Christian and Faithful reach the town where there is a huge festival called the Vanity Fair. The public tries to make the boys buy something, but Christian clearly says that what he needs is not sold in this fair. The public gets shocked and arrests the boys. They are taken to the judge, who asks why they are not participating in the fair. Faithful explains that the fair may have everything else, but it doesn't have peace, joy, love, and unselfishness. These things can't be seen, but they come to those who desire them, and it doesn't even change a coin. Hearing this, the public starts to wonder what lies outside the town. The jury gets worried that the public may consider leaving the town, so he decides to change the prisoners' minds by beating them up. However, it doesn't affect them at all, as their faith in the king is too strong. The judge has no other option left, so he sentences the prisoners to death. Faithful will be hanged today, while the same thing will be done to Christian the next day. Christian is locked in the prison and he begs for the king's help. One of the guards named Hopeful takes pity on him and lets Christian escape. The guard meets Christian later and reveals that Faithful's words have affected his mind. He also wants to go to the Celestial City. The path runs through this town, so if there's anyone sensible like Hopeful, he can also join the journey. After taking a rest during the night, they continue their journey the next morning. The path goes around a river and seems really uncomfortable. Christian decides to take another path, but it leads them to the wrong place. A deadly storm is proceeding toward them, so they take shelter in a nearby cave. But the cave is actually a giant Shu who takes them to his castle and locks them in the dungeon. After 6 days of being hungry, Christian gives up and accepts his defeat. However, Hopeful is still standing strong. He figures out that the giant is not killing them because he can't. He wants his prisoners to fall in despair and kill themselves. Christian suddenly remembers the old man the interpreter showed him. It was actually Christian's future if he lost hope. Christian understands his mistake and regains his hope and faith. A key appears in his hand and helps them escape the castle. The next morning, they reach a beautiful field where they meet the shepherd, who promises to give them a map and advises them to beware of the flatterers. However, he disappears in thin air without giving the map. Christian and Faithful try finding a way by themselves, and they encounter an old man. The old man is really impressed by the travelers' names and says that it reflects their personalities. He starts admiring their courage and skills to come this far. The boys really like the compliments and start following the old man. Little do they know, it's just another trap sent by the devil. Luckily, one of the king's heralds helps the travelers. She reminds them what the shepherd said. They were supposed to beware of the flatterers. Moreover, the king's instructions given to them are the actual map to the Celestial City. When they cross the borders, evil will have no more power on them. Their old lives will be left behind, and a new eternal life will start. Christian tries to find a way to cross the border, which is actually a whole sea with giant waves. Hopeful doesn't look for a path because he has realized that they must walk through the waves. The last step towards the celestial city is death, after which they will not be able to turn back. Hopeful goes in the waves, but Christian starts to doubt his decision, so Evangelist arrives to help him. He tells Christian that he doesn't have to worry about his family as the king will pave a way for them as well. Christian understands and enters the waves. He notices himself drowning and bleeding severely. He falls unconscious and wakes up in front of the shepherd. He has finally arrived at the celestial city where there is no sorrows or pain. Christian also unites with his friends, Faithful and Hopeful, and starts a new life here. But he still wishes that one day his family also gets the message from the king and arrives at the celestial city. Little does he know, his wife has already received the message and her journey has started now.